The reality is, even though we do this every night, we don't always have time to cover all of the recent news. So here with a recap is one of our writers, Amber Ruffin, in a segment we call Amber Says What?
Hey, you guys! Things have been crazy. Okay, first of all, 1 billion people have been accused of sexual harassment. And folks are like, what? But women are like, what? Then Blake Shelton was named sexiest man alive. And I was like, what happened to Idris Elba? Is he okay? And they were like, yeah, we just think Blake Shelton is the sexiest man alive. And I was like, what? You know who the sexiest man alive actually is. Model and actor, Kofi Siriboe. Woo! He is so hot that if a white girl brought him home to meet her parents, they would be like, ooh. Then Australia voted to legalize gay marriage. And I was like, what? They didn't already have it. Gay marriage was too weird for you, but you let these whatchamacallits run around everywhere. Then the Keystone Pipeline burst, and I had so many whats. First of all, what did you think was going to happen? Secondly, what did you think all those protests were about? And lastly, what do you need all that oil for? Is it for your oily children? Silky smooth. No, then at the AMAs, everybody said Pink made a face at Christina Aguilera as she was singing a tribute to Whitney Houston. And I was like, what? That's not like Pink. And Pink was like, what? I didn't do that. That's just people trying to start drama between women. And I was like, amen. Then, oh yeah. I felt the same way. But then I watched the clip. Though. Then Serena Williams had a spectacular wedding. Woo! I saw those pictures and I was like, what? I cannot handle how beautiful this is. And then I was like, there had better not be a photo of them and their adorable baby. What? Then I was like, there had better not be a big family photo that shows how much they all love each other. What? Then I was like, well, as long as there's not a photo of Beyonce at the wedding. What? This has been Amber Says What?